Hello, are you out there? I'm Mark with Homebrew Fever Dreams review, and we've got Path of the Berserker variant. So it's a little bit different. This is through Rune Queen's little subreddit thingy, but it's actually the Bearded Russian posting through the queen. I'm assuming either Bearded wants to keep their little Reddit tag secret, or they don't have one, which is completely possible. I realize I'm super unusual, by the way, because I put my face and who I am on videos that I then put onto Reddit, like associated with my Reddit account. So every like creepy thing or mean comment I've ever made on Reddit is just like there for everyone to see. And they're like, this guy, this is that guy. And it's like, I'm old, so I have no idea about like internet privacy. It just I don't really care. I'm honestly the kind of person where it's just like, you know what? I own what I do, what I consume, what I say. I don't care. It's just like, you know what? I can stand by myself and my choices. Long story short, let's get going. So, well, this one is a bit different. Since I currently don't have any subclasses I've made, I asked the Bearded Russian if I could submit his subclasses that he made without me. I will turn it over to him now as he's written up his own blurb. Hi there, Homebrew Fever Dreams. Bearded Russian here, coming to you directly this time. In a manner of speaking, I suppose this is a bit of a formal introduction, but informally, I have to say, it's been a pleasure to see and hear your thoughtful, enthusiastic, well-kept beard and in-depth thoughts on some of my collaborations with Rune Queen of Oblivion, who always lets me know whenever you post a review of your work. Since our collaborations have slowed a bit lately, she's encouraged me to see what you might think of some of my solo work. I have a sizable backlog, but figured that I'd start somewhere simple and straightforward. This is a revision of the published Berserker Barbarian, which I have always found to be deeply unsatisfying, especially when compared to powerhouses, steady performing subclasses like Totem and the Ancestral Guardian. The rather clumsy implementation of the exhaustion mechanic to try and corral the frenzy mechanic struck me as inelegant and not player-friendly over the course of a long span. As a result, I tried to preserve the original version of the subclass, namely, raging so hard you hurt yourself, in a more dynamic, scalable fashion. I've always tried to keep the simplest and default barbarian classes, subclass. Do let me know what you think. A nice beard. Yeah, you too, Bearded. I'm sure yours is amazing. And, yeah. Path of the Berserker variant. For some barbarians, rage is meant to rage is a means to an end. That ends being violence. That's right. Violence is always the answer, kids. The path of the Berserker is a path of untrammeled fury, slick with blood. As you enter the Berserker's rage, your thrill in the chaos of battle, heedless of your own health or well-being. So, Frenzy. I did read over the official path of the Berserker just to refresh myself. So you get Frenzy. This is kind of the main mechanic for the Berserkers. Starting when you choose this path at 3rd level, you can choose to sink into an even more destructive state known as a Frenzy when you rage. If you do so, you expend a number of hit dice equal to half your proficiency bonus rounded up as part of the bonus action you use to enter your rage. So the official version, it takes a level of exhaustion to enter a rage, then Frenzy within the rage. The problems with that are many. It's that you've only ever got the 6 tiers of exhaustion. And if you ever get to the 3rd tier of exhaustion, it completely negates any value you might get from a Frenzy. Right? At tier 3, it's disadvantage on attack rolls. So, it's just going to make whatever bonus attack you're going to get worthless at that point. Secondly, removing exhaustion is pretty tough. I think you have to do a long rest, and it only removes like 1 or 2. I think is it only 1 level of exhaustion per long rest? It's a big thing. It's one of the like hardest hits you can take in the game, short of being like petrified, is getting exhausted. At any rate, it is super kludgy, and the fact that no matter what level you get your barbarian to, you don't have a way around it to mitigate it that I'm aware of. I mean, maybe there's some little No, I don't think there's anything that negates exhaustion that I'm aware of. So, yeah, it needs addressing for sure. So, ultimately, though, you're just saying half your proficiency rounded up in hit dice sacrifice. And that's going to essentially mean you're going to, the breathers you take between combats, your short rest, you would consume hit dice to convert them to hit points. You're just going to have less of those. Now, you have 3 hit dice to start. So your initial limit's going to be 3 frenzies when you get into this class. And because that'll be your proficiency of 2 rounded up, divided in half rounded up will be 1. And then you'll still be at proficiency 3 through level 8. So that'll go to 1.5. So it's going to jump up to 2 exhaustion really quickly. But I don't think that's a problem because when that happens at 5th level, you'll click over to having 5 hit dice. So you'll be able to do 2 frenzies and have 1 hit dice left to spare. And, you know, it'll scale pretty well. As far as me, like, thinking of the mechanics. And you will get stronger with it as you get into the higher levels. You will eventually start to gain on the hit die pool you have will get so large, but you'll cap out at just 3 hit die burn per frenzy, that as you reach that 18th, 19th, 20th level, you'll be able to frenzy like 5 or 6 times. Or 3 or 4 times and still have hit dice left over. So I think it does very gently, in a near linear fashion, give you more and more as you reach those higher levels. Because that's the whole point. Well, by the time you're level 18, this should be working really well for you. So yes, I think that's amazing. For the duration of your current rage, you may make a single weapon attack as a bonus action on each of your subsequent turns. That's the meat of it. Sorry, getting lost in the mechanics. That's what frenzying gives you, is bonus action attack. You know, if you were fighting like two-handed, like light weapon in each hand, right? You could be making your attacks, but this is like two-handed, right? You've got your D10, your D12 weapon, Warhammer, whatever it is, and you're just raging through, but you get to make that extra bonus attack. This weapon attack must be made with a weapon for which you use strength for attack and damage rolls, so no finesse, well, no dex-based stuff, and you do not add your ability modifier to the damage of this attack. I like that you italicized not, because it's important, and that's like an offhand attack, right? Doesn't it? Shit, I never remember good. When you make an offhand attack, you add your proficiency to the attack, but you don't add your mod to... Crap, no. No, you definitely don't add your modifier to the damage. It's just the die roll on the weapon. So this is like that. Yeah? Why did you do that? Okay. Answer my own question. It's a gentle balance. You're taking a little bit away, because this is not in the official one, right? This last sentence here is not in the official Berserker stuff. So you're taking a little bit back, a little less damage, but you're going to get more functionality out of the frenzy, more uses of it, in particular as you scale to those higher levels. I think that's very admirable to like trim a little off instead of just saying, you know, this is the problem with homebrew, as we all know. I mean, you guys probably better than I do because you guys are so involved in doing homebrew. Like I just read the homebrew. You guys like and run the occasional homebrew campaign, but you guys are like creating homebrew, which I really respect. But so many people, when they think they're gonna homebrew, right, they're just like, I'm just gonna turn the knob up, turn the dial up. I'm going to get, this class needs a little more. Very few people, as we know, take the time to shave a little off. It's like you're turning up one dial, but bringing another one down a little bit to equalize. So nice equalization. I think you're still getting at the heart of what Frenzy's meant to do. Those extra attacks, that extra chance to deal damage, extra chances to break concentration of casters. There's a lot of things you're getting at there. So yeah, nice subtle touch. Mindless Rage. Begin at 6th level, you are immune to the charmed and frightened conditions while raging, which is the same as the official. If you are charmed or frightened when you enter the range, the effect is suspended for the duration of the range. That's identical. So you didn't change that at all. Cool. Intimidating Presence. At 10th level, you could use... Oh gosh. I'm okay, I haven't read this yours yet, but I am not impressed with Intimidating Presence. The ability to just fear one person seems like there's so many other ways to get that in D&D and classes that can do it. I mean, admittedly, it works against like anyone. It's not like a cleric that can turn undead. It has a good way to fear undead, but only undead. This would work on anyone. All right, I'm going to read what you did. You could use your action or bonus action while raging to frighten someone with your menacing presence. Look at this beard. You don't want this. You don't want this. When you do so, choose one creature that you can see within 30 feet of you instead of 60. If the creature can see or hear you, it must succeed a wisdom saving throw. So DC equal to your 8. This is boilerplate. Plus proficiency plus your strength. Yes, 100% agree. Or be frightened until the end of your turn. I think I read this off like one of the wikis. Because I hate going to D&D Beyond. Sorry. I just don't like it. I just don't like the interface and paywalls and all that shit. Sorry. It's charisma, right? And you're just like, charisma. Are you just trying to give someone a 10th level ability, intimidating presence, that's just watered down and ineffectual? Because most barbarians don't have a high charisma. So you're like, it's going to be really mediocre average effect. Enjoy 10th level barbarian. 10th level for most players out there in the world, from what I understand, is as far as you get. Most adventures end at 9th, 10th, 11th level. Not only from the official content coming out of WotC, but from the way we play our own games. I think for like, I don't know the stats, a lot, more than half of people don't get past 10th, 11th level. So you're just like, charisma is my dump stat, right? 10 in charisma. Well, great. That gives you nothing added on. So, so it'd be a plus 4 proficiency at level 10, plus your 8. So it's a DC 12. Wisdom's not uncommon on creatures in D&D. So the fact that you made it strength, yes, thank you for fixing that. If you are raging, you add your rage damage bonus to the saving throw DC. Oh my. Yeah, that's gonna... And that makes sense. That actually super tracks, because being intimidating by the presence of a barbarian is only made more so when they're raging violently against you. So yeah, that's really good. If a creature succeeds on its saving throw, you can't use this feature on that creature again for 1 hour. Sure. Or is it... Normally it's 24 hours, but yeah. 1 hour, 24 hours. I think it's either way. I like that. Man, that's some subtle tweaks, but I think they are absolutely for the best. And I like that you trimmed off the range a bit, but that you made it functionally useful. I mean, the way it was written, range aside, I thought it was a near useless 10th level thing. It's so niche. And this is like your party saying, hey, barbarian, do a little CC for us, a little crowd control, please. And you're like, yeah, totally. I'm a barbarian. Crowd control is what I'm about. Clearly, that's why I made the Berserker barbarian build, is to crowd control people by burning my action to fear one guy. It's like, if you were getting this at like 6th level, I could be like, but at 10th level, you're just like, why not just make it the 14th level? Put it as your capstone. It's so bad. I'm sorry. This is getting long. We're going to finish it. We're going to finish it here. If a creature succeeds on a save... Okay, here we go. Finally, capstone. Retaliation. Starting at 14th level, when you take damage from a creature that is within range of a melee or thrown weapon you are wielding, you can use your reaction to make a weapon attack against that creature with that weapon, which is the same. Did you change it with the range? Maybe you added the range. But either way, I don't see why a barbarian, can't throw their hatchet, whatever. I don't think you can throw a double-handed weapon. I mean, a barbarian could, but... Yeah, the barbarian, feels a frost bolt in the back, turns. He's got his two-handed weapon, and he just gets the hatchet out, and just, whoosh, his reaction is all woink, right into the brain of that filthy wizard. You guys know what I'm saying. Filthy. Okay, I like it. Okay, so theme is as strong as Berserker is, which I think for Barbarian is extremely strong. I think many people envision that Viking-esque Berserker kind of thing. So yeah, I would give you a solid A on the theme. Ease of understanding, I would give you an A plus. Just like the note I said where you italicized not, that you like are answering your own questions. It's nice to see that when someone's thought through someone else reading it. So balance, I think it is well balanced. I think that ultimately, even though you did do your little subtractions, you did turn it up a bit, but it needed it. I think if we're in agreement that it was already like a low, like a B minus subclass, it kind of was, right? I think you've got it to a B plus, maybe an A minus now. And not on you. I mean, I get that you were trying, Bearded, I get that you were trying to keep it close, but you've bumped it up in a couple areas. I think you added the range on the retaliation. You definitely improved intimidating presence a lot. No change on mindless. In the way you reworked frenzy. So yeah, I don't know if it's even now cracking A minus though. It was so weak to start with. But at least it functions now the way it's meant to. It really does give a lot more use, and it doesn't hamstring the Barbarian for you. This is the thing that people might not realize about the original, is if you just use it once, if you frenzy one time, you're actually really messing up your character until you take a long rest. It's that bad. One use in all the rest of the role-playing adventure that's got to happen that day until you go to night-night. Your Barbarian's effed on ability checks, right? Disadvantage on all ability checks? Is that... Yeah. Because Exhaustion 2 is half movement. So, just the fact... Okay. The fact that you took out Exhaustion altogether makes it an A minus. You bumped it into a low A with just that, because that did break it 100%. This is at least playable. Yeah. And the fun of it is as fun as throwing a hatchet into a wizard's head. Am I right? It doesn't get any better than that. Okay, thank you guys so much. By the way, we are getting more people posting. I think yesterday I got 3 posts on the subreddit alone. So I'm going to go to... I always like having a couple padded out, because we usually do one of these a week. But I'm probably going to jump to 2 weeks here for the next couple weeks and see if we can catch up. There's always the chance that the subreddit will just grow, but I think it's going to be a very slow process, But we're getting too far behind. Like, I don't want a backlog of like 7 or 8 entries. I want a backlog of like 2 or 3. So yeah, I'll start doubling up. Try and get one out on Wednesday, Thursday morning. So be watching for it, guys. Thank you, Bearded and Rune Queen. Take care.